Back to the Slow Flowers Show with Deborah Prinzing, episode 547. Well, I believe the springtime brings out the creativity in all of us. And even though we're still nearly a month away from the start of spring, our thoughts are turning to another bountiful season of growing and design. That sentiment was abundantly clear 2 weeks ago at the Northwest Flower and Garden Festival here in Seattle. Last week, I introduced you to two Oregon farmer florists, Bethany Little of Charles Little and Company and Beth Cyphers of Crowley House Farm. Today, I have another inspiring Slow Flowers conversation to share, also recorded at the Flower Show. Adam and Jennifer O'Neill, flower farmers and designers who own PepperHarrow Farm in Winterset, Iowa, were here in Seattle to speak and teach at the Flower Show. We sat down for a conversation on the final day of the 5-day event after a whirlwind 24 hours in which they competed head-to-head in a container design competition. Listen closely to learn who won the prize ribbon. They lectured on the main stage on the topic Big Flower Dreams, flower farming tips for the backyard cutting garden, and they demonstrated do-it-yourself market bouquets, easy tips from the pros on the DIY stage. Join our fun, flower-filled conversation recorded in the lobby of the Washington Convention Center. Apologies in advance for the background noise. You'll meet Jennifer and Adam, or shall I say re-meet them, as they're past guests of the Slow Flowers podcast. You'll learn more about all the exciting 2022 flower growing news and events taking place this coming season at PepperHarrow Farm, including the forthcoming publication of their first book, Small Farm, Big Dreams. Turn your flower growing passion into a successful floral enterprise, which will be out in April, published by Bloom Imprint. And yes, I have a hand in that. Let's jump right in and get started. And at the end of our interview, I've added some bonus video from Jen and Adam's DIY Market Bouquet presentation. You might learn a thing or two. Join us now, and I'll save our sponsor thanks for the end of the show. So talk a little bit about what were your presentations, and just give us the clip notes.
Oh, hold on. Let's start with the most important presentation we did.
Oh, the winning.
We did Container Wars. So Adam and I versed each other. He's still a little salty. We versed each other and made container gardens. And we had the same color of containers, and we put together a beautiful display. And yes, my display won. Adam's still having a hard time getting over it. I'm sorry, honey. I'm sorry.
It was the pink.
I thought you both did such a great job, and we'll try to show a little clip of that.
I thought his looked great too, and I tried to tell him, but he thinks I'm placating him at this point. But they really did look good.
No, yesterday Jim was like, mine was just more garden. Yours was just like more street corner. So.
I did not mean that in a derogatory way. I said his looked like they were professionally landscaped.
Yeah.
Like he's traditionally trained, so it makes sense. I'm just a gardener. He's traditionally landscape trained.
Yeah.
He worked for a landscape
It looked
artist.
more architectural, Adam.
Yeah, it did. It did. It looked incredible. I loved his.
And then during that, there was a lot of banter back and forth with questions from the audience.
I'm just glad he didn't throw dirt at me. That's what he was telling me all along that he was going to do, is like throw dirt over at me. I never saw it happen.
No, I was good.
You were well behaved.
Yesterday afternoon, you gave kind of your core talk here, which was basically secrets from the flower farm for the backyard cutting garden.
Yes.
That was a great crowd.
Yeah, we were a little nervous because we heard Cisco was speaking at the same time, and we thought, oh, it's going to be a ghost town in here. Nobody's coming, but that room was packed.
Yeah, we had a really good
There were
turnout.
several hundred people there. I couldn't even figure how to estimate, but it was full.
Yeah.
That was our first time we had completely revamped our cutting garden presentation, so this was the first time working with it, presenting it. I think it went really well.
I thought it was fantastic, and of course I've been mired in a good way, steeped I should say, in the manuscript of Small Farm Big Dreams. You condensed all the high notes, the lessons that you wanted as takeaways, and made those part of your presentation.
Yeah, yes, definitely. And we just realized we have a lot of visual gold that we wanted to share with people, and we did have a chance. We actually gave this same presentation for our local botanical center in Des Moines, And we realized, like, oh, we were getting too into the weeds talking about things that gardeners actually already know. We need to stick to these really high level topics because most gardeners know what to do when it comes to soil preparation.
We spent too much time with soil.
Yeah. So we spent more
Less
time.
soil, more flowers.
Yeah, more flowers always. So we spent more time in this presentation, like talking about bouquet combinations and showing our farm and the types of flowers we grow and giving practical flower farming tips for people who just have flowers in their cutting garden in their backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just kind of practical things too that I was really impressed with, and which I also really like about the book, which is, your observations of how people respond to color from spring through fall. And like you say it, but then when you are showing your actual designs using flowers from those seasons, and you're talking about green centered versus brown centered sunflowers, I think that helps people understand where you're going and why it's important.
I think so. There were a lot of, we could actually see from being up on the stage, a lot of people were taking pictures of some of our combos, and yeah, you could see that aha moment when we were talking about doing design-driven flower farming and seasonality of color, and how, not only do our customers react to it, they were like, oh yeah, I do too. You could see them like, oh yeah, that's true.
And it blended well with teaching succession planning.
Oh,
so with the seasonality, with the successions, it worked really well.
We're talking about tips from the pros. I thought that was another really important tip, and you broke it down by whatever zone you're in. Just start with your last frost date.
Yes.
And go forward through the whole season. Right?
Yeah, we work to make it zone agnostic the way we teach it, and basically it's planting our seedlings at frost date, 4 weeks after frost date, and 8 weeks after frost date. So that gives us 3 successions for the year.
And then there's the sunflower succession was a completely different recipe,
Totally different.
right?
Yeah, we do every 2 weeks on our sunflowers.
Yeah. No, I thought that was really good. There were a lot of people holding their iPhones and iPads up and both taking shots of your presentation just so they would remember things.
Yes.
So that's a compliment.
I thought so. I was like, yes, please take pictures. This is like validating the things that I'm saying.
Yeah.
Somebody did come up to us after the succession part, though, and they were like, they asked us specifically, so those 3 successions you're planting out, are those the color combinations that you were talking to us about? Pastel in spring and brights in summer, and then the autumnal. I was like, yes, exactly. So they caught on to it, but we forgot to go back and kind of reiterate that back. But they caught on and they came up and asked afterwards.
You put that in your next YouTube video.
Yeah, there you go.
I thought that was so brilliant to refer people to the QR code so they could come, either order Small Farm Big Dreams signed copy or watch some of the YouTube videos. So has it been just like the last 2 years that the YouTube videos or your video education has really been an emphasis for you?
I think digitally is kind of what we're looking at across the board, even above and beyond YouTube. How do we make what we do a little bit more accessible for everyone? And so the QR codes have been a gateway to that. How do you get people to you? It's hard to verbalize that. How do you spell PepperHarrow Farm? And especially with the nuances of Instagram, like it's PepperHarrow _ that's really complicated for people.
Yeah.
If they can just put their phones up and take a picture or scan it right there in the room, boom. I think it was instantaneous after that presentation. We went into Instagram after that, after showing our QR code. There's 20 followers that happened instantly from just showing that during the presentation. It was very cool.
And we've enjoyed the YouTube. It's just another way for us to be creative. It's actually a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
But it's another avenue to be creative and show what we're doing on the farm. And I like the editing portion personally. So it was easy for me to start nerding out on that one.
So how do you decide like what topic, and do you storyboard it out, or do you just kind of do a lot of filming and then use the editing process to make it chronological?
Well, you want to speak?
I'll take it.
Okay.
Adam's more like fly by the seat of his pants. He's like, I have an idea, let's do it on this. And I'm like, I have to have it outlined because that's how my brain thinks. And if I don't have an outline to kind of guide and follow myself, then I get lost and he gets frustrated. So we usually storyboard it out. We do an outline, and then we kind of have high-level bullet points. And
Yeah.
we'll literally say, you take this, I'll take that, you take this, I'll take that. And as we're going through,
Yeah. But we keep it very high level because we want what we're saying to be our words, not like
Yeah.
we just don't script very much at all, if at all.
It's more extemporaneous than you just conversational.
Yeah, and it's easy to edit out when we stumble and stutter and stuff like that.
and for the most part, when you know a topic really well, it's easy to just have a conversation about it. Like, you know, even our presentation yesterday on flower farming tips for the backyard cutting garden, it's like we were just up there having a conversation with us and them. You know, everything that we had, yes, we practiced it a few times. Yeah, we knew high level what we were going to say, but we were really just getting up there and having a conversation between us and the audience. It was really fun.
It seemed very natural, and I loved it. I loved that you would ask each other questions about maybe what your favorite is or what your approach is or your philosophy, and it was actually, I think people got more information that way because they were getting two brains of information.
I thought it was fun. Maybe the husband and wife banter, like how he wants to make the maid trucks, and I'm like,
Oh, I loved that, Adam. I thought that was great.
I want the main truck someday. It'll be
You have
No,
people,
it's not
you
that
have people
big.
rooting for you.
oh my gosh.
When you do the YouTube videos, then are you just you have a tripod or what is your setup?
We just have a tripod, and we have a few different cameras that we use, but we really kind of like the iPhone. The iPhone shoots just super quality photo, but we'll whip out our good camera occasionally to get some really nice B-roll.
And then your iPhone you use with wireless mics.
Yes, yeah, there's plug-in mics that go right to the iPhone so you can get good audio quality.
That's the secret because people need to hear what you're saying.
Yeah, that's the secret to good YouTube videos. The footage can be not so great, but as long as the audio is good, you're okay.
I was saying the way we got to it quickly, we were getting ripped because of our poor sound quality. And boy, they will let you know if you're not doing a good job. They'll let you know over and over again, like, hey, improve your sound quality. You've got to do something. So we're like, okay, we need to bite the bullet here and make the investment into some really good mics.
Yeah.
And then do you do captions?
No, not yet.
I think I have them turned on in YouTube. They have like an auto caption, but I haven't watched it to see how it works.
I'm trying to remember from the ones I've watched. I know there's a title card and you say what the video is about.
It's a lot of work to do, like to caption all that we say, because we ramble a lot too.
We crack up though because our kids caption everything. Everything they watch, they put the caption on. I'm like, what is this about? This is like,
they like reading movies. I don't know.
I know, all three of our kids. So I'm like,
I
is this?
noticed that on some people's, even their stories. Well, it's an app you put on, right? That will
Wild.
just caption it.
Yeah, we got to start doing it more maybe.
I don't know. We can cut this part out. Okay, so one of the reasons you're here is because I was so excited to help pre-promote Small Farm Big Dreams, and I convinced the show that they should look at presentations from you, and I was expecting one, and lo and behold, they booked you for 3 presentations. So you've been here all week in Seattle, and you've been working on a bunch of projects. Can you talk about what you've been working on?
Oh boy.
Did some filming, right?
We did a lot of filming the first few days, and did a lot of video work, video editing.
So some might be more spontaneous, like stories and reels. People will have seen those.
Yeah, I
And
think
you've got some things coming
Jim's
down
been
the
doing
pipe.
really good at doing the reels and TikToks.
Yeah. Really, the big thing is like we're like, ooh, we keep recreating the wheel by platform, and it's like if I do a reel, or if I make a TikTok, it's going to go on a reel, and it's going to go as a short on YouTube. Like, why have to recreate content between all the platforms? Just reuse what you have and spread it around. So I've been doing a lot of that.
Is that because basically every platform has a different audience that finds you?
Yes.
They're not the same audience.
There is a little bit of an overlap, but not much. When we put something on YouTube, it's hitting a way different audience than if we put it on TikTok. So we recognize that. It's like, if you have something, put it on all the platforms, right?
Yeah.
And we know specifically Instagram's really pushing Reels, and so are the other two platforms. So that's what we need to be doing is more short versions of what we're seeing here. And being at the garden show, it's like an adventure. You have so much content to be able to take and make little reels or little short videos, shorts for YouTube.
Yeah, I ended up with hours of footage while I was here, so it's gonna be a lot to process.
Well, I think it's interesting because this is a consumer show.
Yeah.
And we were talking earlier about, you have a diversified audience of gardeners and professionals and florists. Like you have all these sweet spots, and being at a show like this, you can kind of touch them all based on what you're sharing or showcasing.
Yep, you got it. Adam was like, I don't know if we should show Fleur de Ville, because it's a little bit more floristry type oriented. But it was a smash because it's art, it's beautiful, it's amazing to see what everybody's created with flowers, and flowers are really at the core of what we're about.
Yeah, no, I agree, and it does connect non-gardeners with flowers in a new way, so maybe they become more curious.
Yes.
Maybe they want to buy one of your books and learn more about growing their own flowers.
Yeah, definitely.
So we are here at the middle of February. We have about 2 months out before Small Farm Big Dreams is ready for its debut. Should we talk a little bit about the book before we wrap up?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. This has been such a joy to work with you both and to see how you want to talk about knowledge building, all the knowledge you have, and put it into a basically an artifact that people can have and hold, kind of as a companion to everything else you've been doing.
Yeah. I very much felt like that, and it was actually hard to take all of our information and condense it down into a consumable way.
Yeah.
But I think the big thing is we wanted to take the knowledge that we had and really make it easy for people, whether it's a flower farmer who's been in business for 11 years like us, or if it's somebody new starting out on their journey, or if it's even just a backyard gardener who's looking to grow a few blooms to put together to enjoy in their home. We really wanted it to be a wide audience that we hit and have it, pared down a little bit so that we're not so technical that it reads like,
we want it readable.
a scientific journal or something like that. We really wanted it to be user friendly and put it forth in a way that people really could consume and understand.
Yeah, and I think that's you definitely hit all the marks, because the first chapter, the knowledge building, it really does cover a lot of the essential, building blocks that you have to know if you're going to have healthy soil, if you're going to have, analyze your site and prepare to grow.
But we really didn't want to get too down on the weeds. It is there to help for people who don't know anything, but for those that do know stuff, hopefully there's a few tips in for them too, where they can, I didn't think about doing that, or that's what they're doing.
Right.
Good things.
Oh, there's great tips in there. I mean, I think the one that I took away is the 6-inch or 9-inch spacing on pretty much any flower, and I think that alone will simplify the planting process for anybody.
And I think that's the big takeaway is like, we want it to be simplified. We don't.
We didn't want it to be daunting at all.
Yeah.
We want someone to read it and be inspired and think, I can do this. I can do this.
Yeah, I mean, you can make things complicated if you want to make them complicated, but for us and the way we do our business is, how do we simplify this for ourselves? And now that we've simplified a lot of the things we do, like, how do we share that with others, Like, let's make it as simple as possible. That's how it should be.
I remember talking about that with you when we started first started planning Small Farm Big Dreams. We didn't even have a title for it yet, but it was this idea that it was important to both of you to demystify a lot of these heavy obligatory rules that you're a failure if you don't follow, and you're just like, toss those out the window.
Yeah.
Let's be light and have fun. Otherwise, it's not worth doing.
Toss it out the window and get growing.
Get growing.
I think you can classify people in two different categories. There are those people like me. I was calling it renegade flower farming, which is why I was cracking up. It's not really renegade flower farming, but it's either that you're in the boat where you're like, okay, I either follow this, you have your rule followers or you have your non-rule followers that are looking for the simple, easiest way to like achieve the end goal. That's me, that's the category I'm in. What's the easiest, simplest path to achieve what I'm looking to do? And then those who are like, I will only follow what's on this back of the seed pack. And I'm like, I'm over here, a lot of people over here. We got to find some common ground in the middle and maybe teach a little both ways.
Yeah. I think that really comes across in the, I think it's the second chapter about how to know what to plant, right? And
Yeah.
like that's the other thing that, you know, people can go crazy buying in the seed catalog and overbuy and then feel frustrated because they can't get to it all. You just kind of like, let's start here.
One
And-
thing at a time. Bite it off in small bite-sized pieces.
Yeah.
Really, it is that. Like, start with the easier things, get a mastery level, and then kind of like test yourself as you go to kind of tackle some of those more challenging things.
Yeah. The Market Bouquet was a hit today at the Northwest Flower and Garden Festival, and you obviously talk about going to market in Small Farm Big Dreams. Once you've grown all this product, all these beautiful flowers, how can you share them and connect with your community, either financially or not? I mean, it doesn't have to be a business.
Yeah.
Right. Want to talk a little bit about that?
About sharing the
Yeah.
flowers.
Well, it's in a few different ways. So
Yeah.
going to market, of course, we are a commercial cut flower farm. A lot of our flowers go to market. But the flowers that we have left that we have in abundance, where do we take them? Where do we share them out with? And that's called out very clearly in the book. Is it's not all about taking your flowers and selling them. It's about spreading the joy. So
Yeah.
a lot of our
Have a garden party.
yeah, well, a lot of our extra flowers actually will go to our local nursing home, and for their residents, they actually hold a farmer's market day and let the residents go pick their own bouquet out and create their own bouquet,
Oh, how
which
sweet.
is amazing. Adam was taking our bouquets after market and donating them to a local children's hospital for the nurses and staff there to
Wow.
be able to enjoy because they've just been working so hard. It's nice to be able to share that out with them.
Yeah, it's awesome just showing up with some kindness and leaving it and sneaking away.
But
What I liked is what you said yesterday, Adam, which I know is discussed in the book, is that for the two of you, one of the most enjoyable, relaxing ways to unwind is to just cut everything at the end of the season and go have your own private design session and
Yes, yeah.
like
we-
therapy, right?
Yeah, just we're done. Let's play with our flowers. So that's a big joy of ours at the end of the season is cutting everything out. And yeah, just
And
having a
then-
nice big doing multiple designs, just playing around with flowers.
And you might
that way.
photograph them, you might put them on YouTube,
Yeah,
you know,
might, yeah.
you
might
create
be a
content.
bunch of pictures. Yeah.
But we also like doing that during design classes too. Is that's our time where we're not out cutting flowers 24/7. Yeah, a lot of work went into putting on that design class. A lot of the flowers that were cut there, we went out and cut them right beforehand. But we actually get to sit there and enjoy and see people really appreciate and fawn over our flowers.
The classes are the favorite
It's
part.
amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. And you posted all your 2022 classes already on your website, or it seems like I saw a bunch go up at the end of the year.
A lot of them are out right now, but not everything is out. There's a few more big events that we're going to be putting online, and
A few surprises coming.
There's a few surprises coming.
Okay.
Not many, but a few. But you probably saw this year we have a botanical maker series,
Yes.
and
Love that.
so we're going to be making floral fragrances, and this came about because we have lavender essential oil that we produce on the farm. And now that we're in that, we're like starting to explore other things that we can distill with our little copper still, other essential oils and
Oh.
things. And so we're doing a perfume making class where we're going to be exploring the different floral fragrance combinations that smell good together. And people are going to be making 3 roll-ons to take home with them. We're going to be doing candles, and what's the third one?
Dye or soap?
Oh, soap making was the other one. But yeah, I'm inspired by this dyeing, natural dyeing with flowers. I told Adam, we watched Julie Beeler yesterday, and I'm like, I'm totally going home and playing with this because it looked so fun. But honestly, she made it look a little too easy. I'm like, I think she's a next level kind of person.
But again, all of those things you just mentioned about the Botanical Makers series, they're getting people connected with what you're growing in other facets besides just cutting a bouquet.
Right.
Yes.
And so it's broadening your product mix, your offerings. And you've done that already with the lavender, so
Yeah.
it's sort of a natural.
Yeah.
And you said you're planning, how many dinners are you planning this year?
Three dinners.
Okay. I mean, the lavender dinner is the field one, right?
Yeah, all three of them are actually out in the field right now.
Okay.
So currently we have a Mother's Day brunch planned, and it will be al fresco style out in the fields. And there's a theme here too with this changing of the seasons. This is really La Primavera. It's showing the start of our season. Our fields are, just starting to get planted up. You're seeing baby seedlings in. We have plants for sale during this time. And then we have the second dinner, which is the lavender in bloom. They're literally sitting in and around our lavender fields. And Adam was cracking up last year. We put tables in the middle of the lavender. It's like, nobody's gonna sit there. Oh yes, they did. Oh yes, they did. And they looked like they were surrounded by these huge lavender plants.
Yeah, well, we thought people were like, nobody's going to go in here because of all the bees.
Right.
The
Bees are everywhere.
But the bees are so distracted and busy, like they could care less that you're there. So people sat right in the bees, right in the lavender.
It's almost like a fantasy. You can transport yourself to Provence, right?
I know. It's pretty spectacular.
Is that why you wore a lavender sweater? That's an awesome color.
Oh, yeah.
Crafty, I like it.
It's perfect.
But we actually looked back at pictures of this lavender and bloom dinner from last year, and I was like, this is my farm. This happened. Oh, you forget when you're in the heat of the moment and in the height of your busy season on your farm, to take a step back and enjoy. But looking back at these photos, I'm like, whoa.
We still pinch ourselves.
It's
Yeah.
like a dream world. It literally looks
Awesome.
insanely gorgeous.
What is your maximum on that?
150.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. And then our last one is our Dahlias in Bloom. And that's another popular one, and people just go crazy for it and just have the best time. And the feedback we get is like, we're definitely doing this again. And we're telling all of our friends. I'm like, very cool. I love it. New this year, though, with the Lavender in Bloom, we're doing a picnic. And this was something that we didn't want to do a huge dinner with 150 people. We wanted to keep it small and intimate.
It's only 15 couples, so it's per couple, so I guess 30 people total. And it just will create a romantic, unique experience in the lavender, a picnic.
Yeah, but they get a branded picnic basket that has cutlery, plates, and glasses. And then we supply a little charcuterie board with a partner that we're partnering with for that. And we're sending them out into the fields. It's bring your own beverage, and
We'll have a blanket set up.
Yeah, they have a romantic evening out with the lavender.
Oh my
and bloom.
gosh.
It's a special experience.
It sounds special and also less work than feeding 150 people.
Yeah.
I mean, just let's be practical. That's a lot of work.
It is. It's a lot. It's a lot. We actually place all the tables and chairs out in the flower fields, and it's insane.
It's crazy.
And the kids always like, oh no, we have to do this again. Or we still have 2 children at home. We have 3 kids. Our 2 kids are still at home, and they end up having to help us, and they don't dig it.
Yeah, it's a chore.
Yes, exactly. Like, oh no, they're doing it again.
Well, I'm glad you're willing to just visit a little bit with me today. I loved working with you both for many, many years, but especially this past year as we birthed this book and get ready for the celebration of it being published. And people who are watching this can find all the ordering details in our show notes at slowflowerspodcast.com. And I think you should pre-order now from PepperHarrow to get your signed copy. Of course, you can find the book elsewhere, but that's going to be special to have a little note from the 2 of you.
I was going to say signed copy and the opportunity to come on farm for our launch party.
And you're thinking that's going to be May 1st?
Yes, May
Awesome.
1st is the date for that. We don't have a time yet. We better work on that.
Yeah, better.
It felt like that was so far away. Now here we are, just a few months away.
Well, I want to be part of that, so I hope I can come out for that. It'd be so wonderful.
I would love that.
Thanks so much for everything, you guys. You've been so great this week representing. It's just been awesome. We've been representing Slow Flowers, representing Bloom Imprint, representing all that you're doing, and kind of connecting with a new audience. We've got this whole fan base now, thanks to your uncle and aunt living here.
Oh my gosh, that was so fun. What a special opportunity. I love them dearly. And like I said, my uncle's the guy who got me into growing dahlias, and I'm like, gotta pay homage to him. Like, he started it all for us, Dahlia-wise.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really neat. They got to see you in action.
Yeah. Oh gosh. And they posted tons of photos on social media, and everybody's going crazy. I love it so much. It's so great.
The family got to see it.
Yep, the
Awesome.
extended family, and everybody's getting involved in it.
That's neat.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
No, I want to thank you for taking good care of us, and for all of the people who checked us out here. It was fun. So many people approached us after we were done with a lot of our talks and asked tons of questions.
It was awesome meeting new people.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Group of people.
And there was no lack of interest in flower farming and growing cut flowers, so it's really cool to see that interest
Oh, I agree.
taking off out there. And I'm like, I just want everybody to grow something, even if it isn't flowers, to grow something, and there's no lack of that going on in the world, and that's just awesome
need
to
it.
see. Yes, I agree.
Awesome.
If you are putting these flowers into clean water directly after you chop those stems, they will be just fine and they will uptake water perfectly. But for us today, because I don't have my little stem chopper, I'm just going to cut my ends off like this. I want to make sure again that there's no greenery down at the bottom. You don't want to see any leaves. Now, Adam, will you show them how we do our tie?
The bow, I'll do the rubber band, and I'll do it on camera here.
Yeah, so
This is the florist easy way to wrap. Okay, so you just take the rubber band, put it around 1, 2, any stems,
one stem usually.
just wrap it around a couple times and pop it back on that same stem.
That's the secret. That's how you do
So,
it.
you know, rather than kind of like you would do a ponytail, it makes it a lot easier.
Don't do the ponytail method. It's hard on your wrists, and if you have to put together 50 market bouquets by the end of it, you're like, I don't want to wrap another bouquet. This is the quick way to wrap a rubber band quickly. All right, I'm going to use, I'm excited, really excited to use this spirea. It is one of my favorites. So again, you just want to pull off all these little branches. You want to make sure that it's completely clean. Just gonna take that off. Oh, look at how amazing. I love it. I make a lot of bridal bouquets with this spirea. It's absolutely gorgeous. And of course the Ami, I have to, it's so beautiful.
And we can be pretty heavy-handed than most people typically anticipate. We strip a whole lot of the flower off because it's really only the top that we're using, all this lower stuff. It makes it more usable rather than just a big floof that would crowd the bottom of the bouquet.
Okay. So I'm peeling a few more little branches off. That Ami was getting a little bushy. And so my problem that I ran into is my, you didn't see that. My anemone is a little bit shorter than these big stems that I'm working with, and so how do you work with it then? You're going to start to peel off some of these little side branches, and you're going to have to end up pulling down some of these other things to be able to work with your anemone. So this anemone is going to end up being, it's going to make it a little bit shorter. The anemone is probably going to be sunken in there a little bit, and some of these other flowers are going to be more towards the top. You really have to work with the stems you have available to you. Here's a nice tall one, I like that. Okay. I like the fatter stem ones though, because they're really easy to work with. Okay, so we have the hot pink. I'm gonna do these Bordeaux. Okay, this is insane. I've never grown an anemone this big before, but it's absolutely stunning. And easy to work with, look, because it's like 2 times the size of our hot pink ones. Okay, that's okay, we'll figure it out. I don't know. The other thing I like to do is put flowers at different heights. It's not as big of a deal when you're doing a market bouquet like what we talked about, because the people are going to get it and play with it themselves. The key is really to make the stems as long as you can possibly make them, to give them lots of stuff that they can play with and work with. So,
Yeah, those are nice long stems.
they're gorgeous. All right. And you've noticed I've been peeling off some of these little things and kind of stashing them off to the side here. Some of the things that I don't end up using in my market bouquet, I'm going to take them and save them for bud vases. You can take those and kind of put them around your house in little tiny vases, and they just add a little bit of a charm to your home.
And I was thinking the eucalyptus over there, all the little sides that Jen was taking off. It's like, wow, that would make a nice little scented bundle.
Yes, and literally you could take that, wrap a little twine around it, and hang it up in your shower and have a nice refreshing fragrance for your shower. Oh yeah, I love this. So I gravitate towards more of the romantic colors, the pinks and burgundies and things like that. So Valentine's Day bouquet is totally something I love. Okay, sorry. This one's not coming together as easy, I don't think. Those hot pink ones aren't, they're just too
They're
short.
really wobbly.
They're really wobbly and they're really short, so I'm gonna take them out and maybe replace them with some of the stock. Yes, that's great. And again, I'm just gonna take off some of my stems that aren't as pretty here. Pop it in. What do you think? Should I put 2 more in?
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay. We're gonna use all the stems. I don't know. I don't want to use them for your. Maybe you should make a rainbow bouquet for our last one. Rainbow guy.
I was thinking, yeah.
That's one of Adam's favorite color combinations is to do rainbow bouquets. If you don't already know, unicorn bouquets.
When we have a giant menu of flowers, I just want to put every color in the rainbow in there.
Oh, okay, yes.
That's beautiful.
That was worth it. I gotta put one more because it's so worth this. I'm a ranunculus. I love all the ranunculus.
We're gonna put this one on the
So it'll be my third to kind of offset the fact I don't have a third ranunculus. My other one has a broken neck. There we go. So gorgeous. Honestly, I would have put more of this spirea in, but I'm saving it because it's so gorgeous. But yes, this is my Valentine's bouquet, so this would be perfect. This would be perfect for today or for tomorrow to give to your Valentine.
And that was as simple as the last one. Jen started with greenery and just started rotating her fillers in there with her vocals on the outside.
And
Just
again,
imagine that I gave that to you tomorrow.
oh, you're so thoughtful. Okay, so now you're going to take it, put the rubber band on again.
All right.
All right.
Just kind of clean up the bottom. Again, put the rubber band on any few stems, wrap it around a few times, and back on any stem. And we're ready to wrap this beautiful bouquet. I'm going to set it right here real quick. Got our paper again. Fold it about halfway, an inch from the top. You got it. Build our little cradle, little fold. Pinch pretty tightly on the bottom, and I'm going to bring it out again. I'm not going to bring it like a burrito. I'm going to wrap it real loose here. Makes that nice wide presentation.
And for those of you who want to look afterwards, we actually had Adam made a bouquet and put it up on YouTube. How to wrap a market bouquet for a prettier presentation. It's on YouTube. So definitely check it out if you want to go back and refer to this afterwards. He shows again on YouTube how to wrap this bouquet. And you can watch it again and again to copy what we've just done here.
Yeah, who would want this? Hotel flowers. We'll pick 3 people. I think we're going to do 3, maybe 4. We'll see. We'll put all the flowers together. We'll give these away. We'll pick 4 people.
We'll put some more bouquets together here in a moment as well. Okay, the final bouquet we're going to do is Adam's. Maybe we don't have a lot of pink and orange. That's your kind of favorite.
I have a vision.
Adam's going to put together the 3rd bouquet. So, this is a surprise. We'll see.
I can make flowers too.
Yes, Adam's great. So the story with Adam is he is a painter, he's an artist, and it's like, and he happens to be one of those people that is just like naturally good at everything. It's not fair. But anything he touches turns to gold. I'm like, this is some kind of a crazy skill. How is this possible? This guy.
Well, it's actually called idiot savant. So.
I did not call you this simple. Okay, what are you doing? Do you need help? Do you want me to cut anything?
Strip it.
Okay. Get it.
See, I'm not
Get
being
it.
shy about it. This eucalyptus is going to last forever.
It was kind of like hurting my hands a little bit when I was trying to rip it. We have found as we've worked more and more with flowers, we've developed allergies. So Adam's allergic to amaranth. I'm allergic to sunflowers and zinnias. Any flower that has a hairy stem, you've heard about dirty stem flowers, the hairy stems. It will get on my hands if I cut them without gloves on, and my hands will be bright red, especially my bouquet hand. I typically make bouquets in one hand. that hand specifically will turn bright red and itch to high heaven for days. And so I try not to cut sunflowers, and I try not to cut zinnias unless I have gloves on. And you'll notice the more you're around those flowers, you may develop allergies too. So wear gloves if you can.
Yeah, lavender makes me sneeze. We have lavender fields.
Oh, yes.
All right.
How many stems?
Yeah, I did 3 stems of this eucalyptus. Y'all saw how bushy it was, and I stripped most of it down. So I just really wanted these tops, because all this lower stuff would just create messy base, dirty water. I'm going to use, I think they're still pretty. 3, can I find 3?
They are pretty, it's just that they're short, and that's a little bit hard to work with. So whenever we do get short anemone like that, we literally will make just smaller bouquets. Or the other thing we do for our market bouquets, instead of doing a hand tied like what we're showing you here, we'll actually take a little mason jar, we'll wrap a little ribbon around that top of that mason jar, and we put our little short stems in the mason jar and take those to market separately.
Now, Jen mentioned lowering shorter stems in the arrangement or in the bouquet. But another principle that we go by is we create an even top. So let's say this one was shorter, we would lower it a little bit further down so we make sure we have enough stem for everything. But when we're building the bouquet, we just really want to make sure we have a consistent top and don't stress. You see, these are just all sorts of lengths down here. And I have my ideal length, basically it's right below my hand. I guess I'll use this. I don't really like it.
Don't use it. No, don't use it. You
No,
don't
I'm
need
gonna do
it.
it.
You don't need it.
I wanted to put everything in here.
We do need to use some of our spike though, and I think that's important. So one thing we do like to do as we're creating market bouquets is we like to have a very solid focal flower. We like to have these filler flowers, and usually we like that conical spike that gets added in. That makes it look really, really amazing. Another nice spiky flower you can use, so Veronica, Salvia, Celosia is another one. We use a lot of Celosia, and Celosia comes two different ways. Coxcomb is the other name. So there's the comb variety that literally looks like a coxcomb, and then there's a plumed variety. We love to use the plumed variety in bouquets, especially because it adds a lot of dimension. It's nice to have your solid, it's nice to have a nice texture, and then it's nice to have the spiky, I guess, spear in a bouquet too for interest in balancing.
Oh, Celosia, yes.
That looks so beautiful.
Spiky spear.
Spiky spear.
Let's see if we can find.
This looks Valentine's Day too. You better use these.
I'm going to.
That looks amazing.
See, I'm working with my floppy tulips.
Oh no, that one's broken.
Is it broken?
Yeah.
This one's alive. Kind of resting them.
Oh no, that's so beautiful.
They'll still hold together, especially once they're wrapped and they're back in water and hydrating again. Those tulips will pop right back up.
Yeah, so
Tulips
it'll
are really good about that.
it'll push them together and then they'll start growing up that way. But no, if and when you cut your tulips, they will continue to grow. So we know that after we stick a tulip in a bouquet, it's going to continue to grow in that water. It won't just stay the size you have it. And you've all probably seen that when you've bought bouquets of tulips from the store. You put them in water and all of a sudden they start like going out this way or going up tall. They just go every which way. Okay. Oh, I can't wait to see what you have here. Oh, we're making such a big mess. This is fun. This is exactly how it looks in our shop. All the debris on the floor. We usually have to stop halfway through because it's a safety issue for our employees.
Yeah,
And
it's slippery.
we have to sweep because it's like little banana peels on the floor. They're like, ah. We've started to put some therapeutic mats also so that people, it'll be a little bit safer and easier on the back.
All right.
Oh wait, should I show how I wrap?
You wrap like a Chipotle burrito.
I wrap wrong, so usually I let Adam wrap all of the bouquets.
And I'm not typically like see someone wrapping. Get out of my way. I'll finish it.
How quickly can you wrap bouquets? You know, each bouquet you wrap in like 5 seconds or something like
I
that?
can do a bucket every 30 seconds, so 5 every 30 seconds. Just.
Wow.
He is insanely fast, so.
But the
yeah.
paper's already folded and in a stack. It's kind of processed down.
Yeah. We take about 150 bouquets each week to our local farmers market. We do some arranged mason jar bouquets too that look a little bit, they're a little bit more put together than this, a little bit more arranged. If I get too arrangey, Adam's like, just put flowers in and go. You always get on me about
Yeah,
that.
it's like, we're not playing Picasso here. Come on, let's get these flowers put together.
Actually, I think you're, shove the flowers in. Okay.
Well, we teach design classes and people will just be stuck on their arrangement. I just don't know what it needs. I just don't know what it needs. It needs flowers. Put more flowers in. Flowers, flowers, flowers.
We make light out of it. We're like, you're gonna say, what's missing here? And Adam's gonna say, more flowers.
The answer is always more flowers.
It's true, and it always does make it. Okay,
All right.
one more rack.
One more rack. This is a little bit of a bigger bouquet too. Just gonna put my skills to the test.
Oh, it's
A little
amazing.
fold, that, and I whip it out.
Wow.
And once one of you takes it home, they'll be all nice and stiff again when you get them in water.
Forgot your sticker.
Oh.
Usually I like to put the sticker where he makes that staple. I don't like the sticker to be out. I like it to cover the staple a little bit. From a presentation standpoint, it's
Yep.
important. He doesn't care though. He's
Oh,
wrapping these things.
because I put them upside down.
30 seconds, 30 seconds. Okay, that is all we have for you, but we want to talk a little bit about pricing. Is anybody curious about pricing of those bouquets? Yes? Okay, that's what I thought. All right, so pricing of flowers. Our secret is, like you, we were like, how do people figure out how much to charge for these flowers? We didn't know. We grew them, we had them. How do you figure it out? The first thing we did was we pulled the Boston terminal pricing. And Boston is a public market, it's published online. You can see exactly how much they charge wholesale for each of these stems that you see here. It's like a rough estimate. You kind of have to you still have to decide how much your market will take, how much competition you have. Are you in a rural area or an urban area? All of these things matter. What are people doing around you? But we took the Boston terminal pricing and we kind of used that our first year as a rough guide of how to price each one of these flowers out. But as we went, I started buying flowers from wholesalers myself, and I started saying okay, Minneapolis is where my nearest wholesaler is. So flowers coming from Minneapolis, I would see what they were charging wholesale per stem for some of the things that we were using in our bouquets. And that was a really good guide, especially pulling on a wholesale market near me. That's where we based our pricing off of, and that's how we price our flower bouquets that we sell to grocery. That's how we price our market bouquets that go directly to retail customers. And that's how we price our per stem prices going out to our local florists. That's how we determine it. Adam will actually say, wholesale, we know we roughly make half of what we can take and sell a bouquet to.
Right.
So most of our bouquets, we like to sell them directly to customers because we get all of that money. So people are like, why don't you sell more to grocery stores? And I don't really want to because I have to give away a lot of margin, but the volume's there, but it's a lot of work to make a mixed bouquet like what you're seeing here. And you've heard how much time it takes. 150 bouquets, about 4 hours between probably three people, sometimes 4 occasionally. It's a lot to get out to market. So we consciously made a decision hey, let's pull back from doing as much grocery and let's transition into doing more retail. And so that's why, because we actually make more margin that helps us cover our costs from growing the flowers.
Yeah, we really liked retail.
Hey, that was kind of an abrupt ending. Sorry about the edit on that, but I think you got the best of the Market Bouquet demo that Adam and Jennifer shared at the Northwest Flower and Garden Festival. So thanks so much for joining us today. Next week, you'll want to visit slowflowerspodcast.com to find the show notes for episode 547, where you can watch the replay video of today's interview, as well as find links and more resources. And of course, find pre-order details for Small Farm Big Dreams, Adam and Jennifer's new book. And here are our sponsor thank yous. This show is brought to you by slowflowers.com, the free online directory to more than 880 florists, shops, and studios who design with local, seasonal, and sustainable flowers. And to the farms that grow those blooms. It's the conscious choice for buying and sending flowers. And thank you to our lead sponsor, returning for 2022, Farm Girl Flowers. Farm Girl Flowers delivers iconic burlap wrap bouquets and lush, abundant arrangements to customers across the U.S., supporting U.S. flower farms by purchasing more than $10 million of U.S.-grown fresh and seasonal flowers and foliage annually. Discover more at farmgirlflowers.com. Our next sponsor thanks goes to Details Flowers Software, a platform specifically designed to help florists and designers do more and earn more. With an elegant and easy-to-use system, Details improves profitability, productivity, and organization for floral businesses of all shapes and sizes. Grow your bottom line through professional proposals and confident pricing with Details all-in-one platform. All friends of the Slow Flowers show will receive a 7-day free trial of Details Flowers software. Just log on to detailsflowers.com to check it out. Our next thank you goes to Cal Flowers, the leading floral trade association in California, providing valuable transportation and other benefits for flower growers and the entire floral supply chain, both in California and in 48 other states. The association is a leader in bringing fresh cut flowers to the U.S. market and in promoting the benefits of flowers to new generations of American consumers. Our final thank you goes to Store It Cold, creators of the revolutionary CoolBot. Save thousands of dollars when you build your own walk-in cooler with the CoolBot and an air conditioner. If you don't have time to build your own, there's turnkey units available. You can learn more at storeitcold.com. I'm Deborah Prinzing, host and producer of the Slow Flowers Show and the Slow Flowers Podcast. Next week, you're invited to join me putting more slow flowers on the table, one stem, one vase at a time. The content and opinions expressed here are either mine alone or those of my guests alone, independent of any podcast sponsor or other person, company, or organization. Thanks so much for joining us today, and I'll see you next week.